I was the Flash, the fastest man alive. I got a ping from Superman, and he wanted to meet with the Justice League at the Hall of Justice. Just in time. Suddenly, there was an explosion, and Superman arrived.
We'll talk about a dramatic entrance. What's going on here, Superman?
Superman responded by using his heat vision to melt down Cyborg. What in the world is going on here? Aquaman immediately attacked Superman using his trident. They were going blow for blow, but Superman was stronger and knocked him through the hall. Wonder Woman pulled out her sword. She launched herself at Superman, but he quickly defeated her. No, let her go. I ran at him, and Superman hit me so hard that he launched me out of the Hall of Justice. I crash landed in the world and began to look around. I had to make it back to the Hall of Justice and stop Superman. Why would he attack us? He would never do anything like that. I tried to run, but realized I was moving barely faster than normal speed. My powers had been weakened. Oh man. I began to move through the world when I ran into someone who looked familiar. It was Batman. Where were you? Superman just attacked the Hall of Justice.
I was on my way, and then I saw Superman blast into the Hall of Justice. Then I watched as he flew off with Wonder Woman. I wonder where he's taking her.
Superman killed Cyborg. What could cause Superman to turn evil like this?
We need to get to the bottom of this. I have stuff at the Batcave that'll help us find him.
Oh, that's sweet. The Batcave. We set off toward his base, moving as quickly as we could. On day 3, we arrived at the Batcave, and Batman quickly made his way over to his computer to try and find where Superman was headed. He said he was unable to locate exactly where he was heading, but he was moving extremely fast. I told Batman that I was unable to use my powers as effectively. I could barely move faster than a normal person now.
You'll probably need these, kid. You're just like me now.
Batman threw me a set of stone tools, as well as some food. I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm exactly like you, but thanks.
We need to get the team back together. It's the only chance we have to take down Superman.
Batman began explaining that although Cyborg was destroyed, there was still a chance that we can possibly bring him back. What can I do to help?
I will work on a way to bring Cyborg back. In the meantime, you need to get stronger again.
You know what? I agreed with Batman and left the Batcave in search of a way to get stronger.
As promised, here.
Good. Now bring me the rest of them.
On day 4, I explored the world and heard cries for help, so I ran to see what was going on. I arrived at a village, and half of the village and villagers were frozen. I knew that this could only be the work of one person, Captain Cold, the cold-hearted villain and thief. I found Cold messing with the mayor and stealing the villagers' gold. There's one thing that you love more than being a villain, Leonard. It's money.
Bozo, should have known that you'd be here eventually. Prepare to be a popsicle.
Cold uses freeze gun to blast energies of ice, and I tried dodging them, but I still wasn't fast enough, and I got hit by one of the blasts.
What's wrong, Fozo? Losing your touch?
He continued firing his ice blasts at me until eventually I was completely covered in ice. Oh, it's so cold. I started to black out, and suddenly I was in a strange new dimension. Where am I? I started to feel power swelling within my body. What was this place? And where did Captain Cold go? But then suddenly I was back. I quickly used my lightning blast on Cold and knocked him out. I freed all the villagers out of the ice and returned their gold back to them. Where was I when I blacked out? I decided not to think about it for now and returned to the Hall of Justice. When I arrived, I noticed that the Hall of Justice was in complete ruins, just like Batman had explained to me. As I looked around, I noticed that there were unusual blocks scattered throughout the hall. The blocks looked unnatural and almost like they were not from this world. I started to extinguish all of the flames that were still in the base and remove as much of the strange blocks as I could. I then went into the world and gathered a ton of wood and stone so I can start to rebuild it. I started by creating a section inside that would serve as my base. I wanted to be close to where Superman attacked in case others decided to return as well. After constructing my room, I filled it with chests as well as furnaces to give it more of a homely feel. It was no bat cave, but I guess it'll do. On day 6, Batman arrived at the Hall of Justice.
It appears as though Superman weakened you and the rest of the Justice League.
Yeah, no kidding. I told him that I saved a local village from Captain Cold.
I wonder if the key to getting your powers back is to save people.
I thought about it, and it would make sense since what else is a hero supposed to do? I began explaining to Batman the strange blocks that Superman had left behind and asked him if he knew anything about it. He told me that he wasn't sure. I gave Batman the blocks, and he said that he would work on analyzing them and try to figure out what they were.
Oh, also, found a way to bring back Cyborg.
He explained that we're gonna need a lot of iron for his body, as well as a ton of redstone to create a power source. I'm on it. I ran out of the base to look for the material we would need. need. I was running out in the world trying to locate a mine so I could find the materials Batman needed. As I was traveling, I spotted a village that was being raided by a group of pillagers. The pillagers also had the strange red eyes that Superman had. What in the world? I quickly jumped into action and started to fight the pillagers off using my super speed. There were a lot of them, but they didn't stand any chance against me. I continued to fight them. Eventually, I was able to stop all of them. After defeating the pillagers, I was expecting to get some kind of power upgrade, but nothing happened. The villagers started to surround me and cheer. Thank you. Take this. The villager gave me an iron sword as well as some food. Wow. Thank you. I was starving after all, and everyone knows that the Flash needs to eat a ton of food. I left the village and continued on my journey to find the materials. On day 8, I finally found a nice looking mine. Hopefully this will have all the stuff I need to get Cyborg working again. I ventured into the mine and used my stone pickaxe to mine as much iron as I could. I then used some of the iron to craft an iron pickaxe. Oh, and I can also use some of the leftover material on the Hall of Justice. As I went deeper into the mine, I finally found the redstone near some lava. I also found gold and diamond and collected those as well. This should be enough for now. I ran out of the mine and into the sound of explosions. Where is that coming from? I ran up a hill and saw Superman destroying a nearby village.
Batman? Fozo? Where are you?
He flew into a building and instantly destroyed it. I want to fight him, but what could I do? I'm not even at full power. Regretfully, I ran away from the carnage and made my way back to the hall. On days 9 to 10, I arrived and gave Batman the materials I gathered for him. So what do we do now? Batman began to explain to me his plan for bringing back Cyborg. First, we were gonna have to construct a machine to do it. We got to working on the machine. We used some of the iron I'd gathered to build the exterior, and then Batman used redstone to power it.
It's going to take time to bring Cyborg back. He is incredibly complex, and I don't know exactly how to do it.
But it will work, right?
I hope so. In the meantime, we should find out why Superman has turned evil.
I'm not sure where to even start looking for clues. Batman told me the first place I should check would be Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Wow, why didn't I even think of that? The Fortress of Solitude. No one ever disturbed Superman when he traveled there. I guess I really didn't have a choice though. I needed answers, and I needed them fast. After a long time of running, I finally made it to Superman's fortress. I'd never been here, but I could tell something wasn't right. The place looked like it had been attacked. Why would Superman destroy the only place he was able to go to in peace? Once inside, I noticed that there were the same strange blocks that I'd seen at the Hall of Justice. Why is Superman leaving these all over the world? I searched the rest of the fortress, but wasn't able to find anything of value or information. As I left, Superman landed in front of me. Why have you done this? What has gotten into you, Superman?
The Justice League must be destroyed.
He flew directly at me and hit me, taking away some of my hearts. I tried to use my super speed to my advantage, but he was just as fast. I fought back against him using my lightning ability, but it didn't seem to affect him. Superman started to fire his laser vision on me, and I realized I was only down to one heart. Oh no, this isn't good. Suddenly, something hit Superman and took him by surprise. I looked around and realized it was the Reverse Flash.
We need to go now.
The two of us ran off as fast as we could while Superman was staggered. Days 13 to 14, we finally stopped running. There was no way Superman would be able to follow us here. What the heck, man? Why would you do that? Aren't we like sworn enemies?
Look at you. You're so slow now. You could barely keep up with me.
He then started to run circles around me. Yeah, very, very funny. Listen, why save me? You've always wanted to take me out yourself. Why not do it then?
This new evil Superman is kind of stealing my gig. It's always been my goal to take you out and take over the world.
So, what do you want from me then?
I want you to get stronger. If you do, I'll help you take down Superman.
He ran off. He was right after all. I did need to get stronger, but was I willing to team up with a supervillain? I had a lot to talk to Batman about, so I ran off back towards our base. On days 15 to 16, I made it back to base and ran up to Batman to tell him what I'd seen at the fortress. I told him about the strange blocks, the ruins, Superman, Reverse Flash, you get it.
You already have a team. We don't fight with supervillains.
Batman told me that everything for Cyborg was ready, but it's gonna take some time to download his identity into a new body.
In the meantime, I need you to find Aquaman. Someone spotted him on a beach. He's probably trying to make it back to Atlantis.
Before I headed out, Batman threw me a gadget and told me that I should amplify my lightning ability, helping me do more damage. Sweet! I set out to find Aquaman. Before I found Aquaman, I decided it would be best to get some upgrades. I went into a nearby cave and started to mine for materials I could use to upgrade my suit. After some time, I smelted the the iron and applied it. Check it out. A new iron-plated suit. This is gonna come in handy if I ran into Superman again. I set off running toward the beach where Batman had said Aquaman had been spotted. I started to run faster and faster. Wow, I'd like to see him run this fast. Suddenly, there was a blinding flash of light. Whoa, where am I? It looked like the place I'd briefly been when I was fighting Captain Cold. Is this the Speed Force?
Bozo.
Who said that?
Come find me, Bozo. You must.
What was that voice? And where was it coming from? There was another flash of light, and I was back in the world again. Okay, maybe don't run that fast again. I took off running at a safe speed of light. On days 19 to 20, I made it to the beach and began looking for Aquaman. I then saw him, but who was he with? It was Black Manta, and they were fighting. Aquaman looked like he was being overpowered. He must still be weakened from Superman's attack. I rushed in to help.
The Justice League will fall. Our leader will make sure of that.
Aquaman and I worked together to fight him. He hit me a few times, and it hurt significantly less thanks to my new suit upgrade. I used my super speed to avoid most of his attacks, and then used my lightning strike on him and took him down for good.
Thanks for that, kid. Though I could have taken him.
Yeah, right. Classic Aquaman. Together, we traveled back to base. Along the way, he told me that his powers had been significantly weakened after the attack, but spending more time by the ocean had restored much of his strength. When we got back to the base, I started to make Aquaman a fish tank to live in. He thanked me for rescuing him. No problem. I realized that I was low on food, and with Aquaman here now, we're going to need a lot more. I went out and collected as many seeds as I could find, and then crafted myself a hoe and a bucket. I returned to base and began making a farm. This should be enough food for all of us now. What in the world was that? I was woken up to the sounds of screaming coming from Batman. We must be under attack by Superman again. I ran out of my room and found him standing in front of Cyborg's new machine. What's the issue?
We lost all the progress on our download. Our power source isn't strong enough to complete it. We need to try something else.
I had an idea. Maybe if I run fast enough, I can give the computer a jolt of energy and we will be able to bring him back. Batman said it was worth a shot, so I ran as fast as I could and hit the computer with my lightning ability. Unfortunately, it didn't work. Great. What's next, Batman? Without Cyborg, how are we going to defeat Superman?
I've been planning this day for a long time. In order to defeat Superman, we'll need to acquire Kryptonite, which is located deep inside his home planet of Krypton.
Kinda seems a little weird that you've been planning this for a long time, but whatever. How would we be able to get to Krypton? He told me that we were going to need to get material to create a spaceship in order to travel there, but we'd also need Cyborg's help to make the ship fully operational. Oh man, so we need to bring Cyborg back before we can even get there? This just keeps getting better and better.
For now, go and try to get the material we need for the ship. I'll keep working on Cyborg.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Don't call me that.
Sir, it is. I set off finding the material we needed. I arrived at a cave that was close by and began to look for iron, as well as redstone. Thanks to my super speed, I was able to explore the cave incredibly fast. In no time, I had all the material I needed for the spaceship. Suddenly, the ground began to shake. What was going on? Was it an earthquake or a cave-in?
You, Bozo.
I need to get out of here. There was no doubt he knew I was in the cave because of his x-ray vision. I ran as fast as I could. I returned home and gave Batman the material. After, I started to work on the Batwing we would need. Because Krypton was so far away, the ship needed to be able to withstand space from a long period of time. After working on it, I returned to Batman to see if he made any progress on Cyborg. He told me that once again, the power source was failing, and we might need to look at other options to bring him back. Batman told me that he spotted Wonder Woman in the desert. Oh, she must have escaped Superman. That's great news. I'm gonna go bring her back, and we can come up with a plan to power up Cyborg. I set off toward the desert in hopes Wonder Woman was still there. I set off running toward the desert to find Wonder Woman. I started to push myself harder and harder. I needed to get there fast before Superman found out she had escaped. Suddenly, there was a blinding light, and I found myself back in the Speed Force. Oh no, I must have pushed myself too hard again. I continued to journey through the Speed Force when I noticed Superman was talking to someone. It appeared as though Superman was taking orders from the other figure. I heard another voice. It was the voice I heard the last time I was in here.
Bozo, find me.
The voice was calling for me to find him again. How do I know I can trust you?
Do you have any other choice? It is the only way to defeat Superman.
Then how am I supposed to find you?
Follow my voice.
I rushed toward it quickly, and then there was another blinding flash of light. I was back in the world, standing in the middle of a plains biome.
Hello, Bozo. I'm glad you finally found me.
This guy looked like me, except he was wearing a much older version of my suit. Who are you and how do you know who I am?
I am Jay Garrick. I am the original you, the first person to discover the Speed Force.
If you're the original me, then how come I've never seen or heard of you?
I'm from a different dimension. I traveled here to help guide you. You're not utilizing the Speed Force to its true potential, which is why I want to train you.
Jay explained that by focusing my frequency, I can use my body as a lightning rod in order to build up a Speed Force charge and redirect it. After some practice, I was able to supercharge my body with lightning. That's incredible.
Imagine what I'll be able to teach you later on. For now, your team needs you. Find me again later.
I thanked Jay for the training and headed off back toward the Hall of Justice. On days 33 to 35, I made my way back to the Hall of Justice, and to my surprise, it looked almost completely rebuilt. Batman, did you do this?
Yeah. While I was waiting for you to return, I needed something to do. So I decided to go out, get some resources, and start rebuilding the Hall of Justice.
Wow, that's amazing. I wasn't able to make it to the desert and find Wonder Woman, but I did meet myself from another dimension. I explained to Batman how he trained, and he showed me how to use the Speed Force to my advantage.
Okay. That seems extremely unlikely. But whatever, I'm happy for you, I guess.
After speaking with him, I decided it was a good time to go upgrade my living quarters. I expanded it to have a storage and furnace room. After completing my home upgrades, I realized that Aquaman had eaten most of my food from the farm.
Sorry, but I've been bored, and I eat when I'm bored.
We were gonna need more food for sure. I started by expanding the farm to include more room for crops. I then used some wheat to lure a group of sheep back to the base. I built them a small pen to live in. As I finished, I heard Batman calling out to me, so I rushed over to him. What is it? He told me that Wonder Woman set out an SOS. Oh man, she must be in danger. I need to go help her now. I was on my way to Wonder Woman's signal, making sure to not be spotted by Superman. I arrived at the location and realized it was in a large village. It looked deserted though. Where did all the villagers go? I searched the area, but was unable to find her. But I did notice that there was an area with similar materials. Where have I seen these before? That's right. I saw them at the Hall of Justice and Superman's Fortress of Solitude. Oh man, he must have beaten me here. I got ready to leave, but when I turned around, I saw Wonder Woman. She was okay. Wonder Woman looked up at me, and I realized she had the same red eyes as Superman. She began to charge at me, and I begged her not to fight. Hey, stop! What's gotten into you?
Destroy the Justice League.
Superman must have corrupted her too. I had to fight back using my super speed. I was severely outmatched by her. She continued to attack, and I realized I was low on hearts. I need to get out of here. I ran as fast as I could back to the Hall of Justice. Thankfully, I was able to escape. I told Batman about everything that happened, and he looked shocked. I ate some food at the base and rested for the night. Tomorrow, I'm gonna tail Wonder Woman and find out exactly what's going on with her and Superman. I woke up feeling much better and fully rested. I talked to Batman, and he told me he was able to track Wonder Woman heading towards some structure in the jungle.
The material you've been finding around the world, it's not from this planet. I'm not sure where it came from, though.
I set out to find Wonder Woman. After a while, I arrived at the structure in the jungle. This place looked absolutely massive. I went inside and began a search for Wonder Woman. I spotted her and made sure to stay out of sight. She made her way to the top floor of the temple where she began to look around. What was she looking for? Whatever it was, she clearly found it because she began to make her way back toward me. I hid to stay out of her sight before continuing to follow her out of the temple. We traveled for a long time. We even made our way across a few different biomes. Finally, we crossed into a biome that looked to be made completely out of the mysterious material I've been finding in the world. This must be the source of their evil. I've never seen this before. Time to find out exactly what's going on. On days 42 to 44, I was inside of the mysterious structure. Okay, keep your cool. Nothing could go wrong, right? Eventually, I found them, and they were standing in front of the dark figure. Wait a minute. That's the guy Superman was talking to before. Who are you?
Hello, Bozo. I am Darkseid. You're foolish to come here.
Darkseid? Wait a minute, you're the enemy of Superman. Why are you guys working together? And what are you doing to this world?
Isn't it obvious? I want to turn your pathetic world into apocalypse. I have been able to control Superman and Wonder Woman. It is only a matter of time before I have you all under my control.
Well, I'm not gonna let you get away with it. I rushed at Darkseid using my super speed and struck him, but oh man, he was totally unaffected. He laughed at me and then hit me extremely hard. I started to feel woozy and I blacked out. On days 45 to 46, I woke up inside of a bedrock prison. I need to find a way out of here before he's able to control me as well. I tried to mine out, but the bedrock was unbreakable. There seemed to be no way out of here. I really wish Jay Garrick was here to help. I had an idea, but I wasn't sure if it was gonna work. I began to run in circles as fast as I could. Maybe I can communicate with him through the Speed Force. There was a flash of light, and I was inside the Speed Force with Jay Garrick. Hey, buddy, I really need your help. I'm kind of stuck in a problem.
You're not stuck in a problem. You're stuck in a bedrock prison. I was hoping to teach you this new trick in person, but it seems like you need it now.
Jay started to explain to me that there's a way of moving so quickly that I would be able to phase through any object. I began to draw on as much energy as I could, and then ran off at full speed. There was another flash of light, and I was out of the Speed Force on the other side of the bedrock prison. It worked! I didn't have much time to celebrate though, because Darkseid spotted me and sent his parademons after me. They swarmed in a group and started to attack. Luckily, they weren't very strong, and I was able to take most of them out using my lightning abilities.
You pathetic weakling. Superman, Wonder Woman, capture him.
Oh, great. They began to charge at me. I knew there was no way I was gonna fight both of them at once. I used my speed to avoid their attacks and ran out of Darkseid's base. I returned and began to explain to Batman what I found. I told him about Darkseid, all of it.
This isn't good. Darkseid is one of the most powerful beings in this universe. We are definitely gonna need all of our combined power to stop him.
There has to be a way to break them from his control. We're just gonna have to find out what it is. Batman suggested first we should finish the Hall of Justice. We got to work gathering the material, and after a while, we restored it to its original form. Batman and I then started to talk about Cyborg and the progress that he'd been making with him.
It's no use. We need to find another way to bring him back.
Before we can come up with another option, there was a distress call. It was from Themyscira, Wonder Woman's home world. The signal said that Wonder Woman and a group of parademons were attacking it. I need to go help them. Before I left, I quickly used my super speed to mine diamonds in a cave nearby. I then used the diamonds to replace the iron plating in my armor with diamond plating. Hopefully with this upgrade, I'm gonna stand more of a chance against Wonder Woman. I head off toward Themyscira. On days 51 and 53, I traveled to Wonder Woman's home. When I arrived, I noticed that it was already being converted to Apocalypse. They weren't kidding when they said they were being attacked. I started to make my way through the city to find Wonder Woman. Who could she and a horde of parademons be hiding? Suddenly, there was a blur that went right past me. Who was that? I then saw the Reverse Flash standing in front of me.
What's up, Slowpoke? Are you still slow or what?
All right, calm down there. I'm faster than you'll ever be.
Yeah, no chance, bozo.
I thought you were trying to help me fight Superman. Where have you been?
I never said I was going to help, just that I needed you faster to defeat him. Here I am to provide you some insight.
Okay, tell me. I'm sure I really need to know this.
Stop trying to release the Speed Force. How you control the Speed Force instead is letting it control you.
What are you talking about? He quickly ran away. There's no time for this. I need to find Wonder Woman. I heard a large commotion coming from the Coliseum and made my way over to it. Not to my surprise, I saw Wonder Woman with her group of parademons. I called out for her to stop and try to reason, but Darkseid's control was too strong.
Attack him.
The parademons swarmed at me and began to fight. They barely seemed to do any damage. Thank you, diamond-plated armor. I used my super speed to easily outmaneuver them, and then a good lightning strike to take them out.
Enough of these silly games.
She charged at me and we started to fight. She was still powerful, but I could tell we were more evenly matched with my suit upgrade. I started to fight back using my speed and electric abilities against her. Our fight raged on, and with another electric strike, I was able to knock her to the ground. She was weak, and I knew another hit would surely defeat her, but I didn't want to defeat her. I needed to save her. Instead, I used my speed to summon a tornado to hit her. Maybe I can phase her through Darkseid's control. The tornado hit her, and I can see the red slowly leaving her eyes as she turned back to normal.
What happened? Where am I?
Wonder Woman, you're back. It worked. I was able to free you from Darkseid.
Darkseid? The last thing I remember was Superman attacking us and being knocked out.
I decided to catch Wonder Woman up about everything that's been going on.
Wow, that's a lot.
I know, right? Tell me about it. Sadly, our conversation was interrupted because Superman showed up.
You're both coming with me.
He began to use his laser vision to attack us and totally began destroying the Coliseum. Come on, we need to get out of here. I grabbed Wonder Woman and used my speed to get us out of there before Superman could follow us. We returned back and everyone was so excited to see her. Wonder Woman and I began to build her a place to stay at. It was better that we were all together in case of another attack. Batman and I then started to ask her if she knew a way we could bring Cyborg back, but she said it was impossible. There's not enough energy on the Earth to do so.
You'll need to find another way to bring him back.
Just then, she gave me an idea. There wasn't enough energy on Earth, but maybe the Speed Force was the answer. I better go talk to Jay. He'll know what to do. On days 60 to 62, I traveled through the Speed Force, and I was able to find Jay. I began to tell him our issue. I also told him what Reverse Flash told me about controlling the Speed Force rather than releasing it. What's that supposed to mean?
That is impossible. You cannot do that.
Well, I mean, the Reverse Flash seems to be doing it, and he's light years faster than me.
If you want to continue your training with me, you'll drop this idea entirely. It's too dangerous.
I felt like he was hiding something from me, but I knew Jay was the only way I can get faster. So I did as he said.
The Speed Force is not just something you use, but everything around you is drawing its power and energy from it. In order to get stronger, you'll need to pull more energy not only from the Speed Force, but also your surroundings.
Wait a minute, maybe if I do this, I could possibly control time and use it to save Cyborg. Jay told me that this was a very dangerous idea and that someone had tried before and was lost forever. I told Jay I was out of options. It's either this or nothing. The fate of the world depended on it. I drew in as much energy as I could until suddenly I was flying through a blue flash of light. I found myself back in my house. I checked the date and realized it was before day 1. I began to look around and I could feel the ground was shaking. What was happening to the world? I heard Jay's voice echo out.
Bozo, you only have a limited amount of time. If you stay there too long, you may not only destroy yourself, but the entire world around you.
Of course it's gonna be me who ends the world instead of Darkseid. I better hurry and find Cyborg fast. I just hope he's at his laboratory. I made my way to his lab, and luckily, he was there. I could feel the ground shake. Listen, I don't have much time to explain, but you're gonna die today unless you come with me right now.
I'm going to die? Bozo, you're acting crazy.
You have to trust me. We need to go right now. If you don't, not only you, but the entire world's gonna be destroyed. Cyborg looked at me, and I can tell he was analyzing what I was saying.
I don't know if I truly believe what you're saying, but I don't detect any of the signs of lying coming from your body.
Thank goodness. Before I could grab hold of him, Superman broke into the lab. He must have sensed something was different now. He began to shoot his laser vision at us, and I quickly grabbed Cyborg. I began to run as fast as I could, hoping we would travel back to the present day. Once again, I saw the blue flash of light. Here goes nothing. On days 66 to 68, we returned back to the present successfully. Wow, we actually did it. Jay was waiting for us and congratulated me.
Never do that again.
Thanks, Jay. I hope I won't have to. Cyborg and I left and began making the journey back toward the Hall of Justice. When we arrived, everyone was in disbelief that Cyborg was alive.
What? Cyborg? But how?
Come on, Bats. You know me. I went back in time and I saved Cyborg. With Cyborg back, I began to make him another workstation so he could prep the spaceship. We were gonna need to get kryptonite if we were gonna save Superman. After that, Cyborg gave me a list of materials he was going to need for the spaceship. I quickly set off to a cave and acquired the diamond and redstone that Cyborg needed. I also had enough leftover diamonds to craft myself some diamond tools. With Cyborg's help, I was able to complete the ship in no time. He plugged in the coordinates and I flew off toward Krypton. On days 69 to 71, I landed on Krypton and began to look around. I'd never been here and was shocked I was able to breathe on the planet. I was about to start mining the ground when suddenly I heard someone call out to me. I turned around and saw a Kryptonian standing behind me.
What are you doing on our planet?
I began to explain how Superman had been corrupted by Darkseid and I needed kryptonite to set him free. He told me that I'd have to prove myself to their leader in order to take some of their precious planet back to Earth. All right, buddy, whatever you say. I followed him back toward the city. On our way in, we came across 2 more Kryptonians.
What makes you think you are worthy of taking a piece of our planet?
I needed to save my own homeworld. Without it, Superman and Darkseid will remain too powerful and inevitably destroy it. They explained that their planet had totally been destroyed by a war between their people. They did not want to see any other planets destroyed. So with that being said, they allowed me to take a small amount of Kryptonian. Oh, thank you guys so much. I quickly returned to my ship, and there, I started to mine the ground to acquire as much kryptonite as I could. I'm definitely gonna need a lot. Once I was done, I jumped in the ship and headed back toward Earth. I landed back on Earth and quickly rushed inside the Hall of Justice. While I was gone, it looked like the place had been totally redone. Cyborg came out and said while I was on Krypton, he had fortified the base. Aquaman then appeared and told me that he had been so hungry from all this waiting, he decided to expand the farm. He was also able to lure a group of pigs back and built a pen for them.
I love bacon.
I'm glad things are really starting to shape up around here. I then approached Batman and gave him all all the kryptonite I'd gathered. He told me it was exactly enough for what he was gonna make.
It's gonna take time to prepare, but I believe it should do the trick against Superman.
What are you working on exactly anyway? He told me that he was building a set of kryptonite armor with a kryptonite sword as well. With that, we would be able to slowly weaken Superman. You know, while he's making that, I probably should go talk to Jay. I think it's a good idea if I train more. On days 75 to 77, I had almost reached Jay when I heard shouting coming from the direction of his base. I started to run quickly toward it, and when I arrived, I saw Jay and Reverse Flash were fighting. Jay was clearly getting overpowered. I have to do something. Before I can get there, Reverse Flash fatally wounded him. What are you doing? He's the only way I'm gonna be able to get faster.
That is no longer my concern. Let's just say Darkseid made me an offer. I'm going to get half the world, and I get to take you out.
Oh boy. We started fighting, and we were evenly matched. Reverse Flash must have realized fighting right now wasn't worth it because he just ran off. I ran over to Jay. Jay, you're gonna be all right.
I'm afraid this is the end of the road for me, Fozo. I need you to know that the Speed Force uses us to release its energy. Reverse Flash was right, but I didn't want to tell you for fear it may kill you. I know you are strong enough to handle it though.
But how am I gonna be able to do that?
When the time is right, you will understand.
Jay died. I will avenge him. I'm gonna avenge him by defeating Darkseid and the Reverse Flash. I hope that kryptonite armor is ready, because I'm gonna need it. I returned to the Hall of Justice just to see it was under attack. I rushed inside and saw that Darkseid was fighting with the Justice League. Even together, they didn't look like they were powerful enough to take him on. They needed me.
You call yourselves heroes.
He hit Aquaman, and his eyes turned red. Oh no, he must be controlling him now too. I had to step in and try to save them, but Darkseid hit me back and then started to control the entire Justice League.
You lose, Fozo. Now, join me, or I will make you watch as this world is destroyed and reshaped in my image.
I would never join you.
Suit yourself. Attack him!
The Justice League attacked me from all angles. They were so strong. I wasn't able to fight back, even with my super speed. Oh man, I'm running low on hearts.
That's enough. I want him to watch as his world is turned to ashes.
They left, and I'm badly wounded. I lost all my friends. There's no way I'm gonna be able to defeat Darkseid now. It was day 81 to 85. I feel like all I can do was sit back and watch as the world was destroyed. Wait, what's that dinging noise? I looked around and realized Batman's kryptonite armor. It was ready. Maybe there's still a chance I could rescue them. I can't give up now. I equipped the armor and set off toward Darkseid's base. Once I arrived, I looked around. I found Aquaman and Batman and quickly knocked them out with a super punch. Right after that, I shocked both of them.
What happened?
Don't worry about it. You're free now. I have to free the rest of the league too. Just head back to the Hall of Justice. I continued looking and I spotted Cyborg. His sensors detected me approaching, so we began a fight. A few hits and I knocked him down. And just like that, shocked him back to normal as well. This kryptonite armor was seriously strong. I pressed on, and after a while, I was able to turn everyone back. Now, it's just Superman. I knew that he was going to be the toughest battle. I found him in the main area of the base. I called out for him, and he immediately started to rush at me.
Must kill Fozo.
When he hit me, it hurt a lot, but it wasn't anything I couldn't handle. I fought back against him. I could tell that the longer the battle was going on, the more power he was losing from the kryptonite.
How can this be?
Say hi to your old friend Kryptonite. I knew this is my chance. I used my electric shock and freed him from Darkseid's control. We all arrived back at the base, and the entire team was low on energy and health. I ran to the farm and gathered meat from the pigs. I cooked the meat up and distributed it to the team. I can tell they were all starting to feel a little bit better.
So what exactly happened? I was at my Fortress of Solitude, and the next thing I remember, we were fighting in some strange base.
I quickly caught him up with everything that happened. He was shocked to learn all the terrible things he did, and he apologized. Don't worry, man. You were under control by someone else. It wasn't you.
We need to come up with a plan to stop Darkseid and take him down. And I think the only way we're going to be able to do it is if we all work together.
You're right. It's only a matter of time before Darkseid unleashes his doomsday weapon. We only have a few days left.
Slowpoke bozo.
Come on, man, it's Fozo. I heard the Reverse Flash running outside. I need to stop him. I began to run after Reverse Flash. On days 91 and 94, I caught up to the Reverse Flash. You'll pay for what you did to Jay.
That old guy, he was even slower than you.
Yeah, well, this ends now. You are going down. I rushed at the Reverse Flash, but he was just as quick as I was, possibly faster. I tried to use my lightning on him, but oh man, he's too quick.
Here, try this.
He hit me, and when it connected, I felt slower. I began to summon as much energy from my surroundings as I could, but when I tried to run, I felt stuck in one spot. Suddenly, it appeared as though the Reverse Flash was not moving. What was happening? I found myself back in the Speed Force, and standing in front of me was Jay Garrick himself. Jay, what's going on?
You're doing it, kid. You're harnessing all the energy from the Speed Force now. I told you that you would need to learn it on your own.
I came back into the world, and what happened to my suit? Why is it all black now?
You've now absorbed all the energy within the Speed Force, including Reverse Flash's negative energy.
Reverse Flash began moving, but at such a slow speed. I realized he wasn't moving slow. I was just moving so much faster than him. I took advantage of this and landed a ton of strikes on him.
No, you took all the energy for yourself. How did you even do that?
Someone's too slow to understand. I hit him with my lightning and took him down for good. I returned to the Hall of Justice and informed my team that I had taken out the Reverse Flash. All that's left now, guys, is Darkseid.
Nice suit. I like the color.
Thanks, Bats. We started to rehearse our plan when suddenly there were large rumblings in the ground and the earth began to shake. We ran outside and noticed that the world had almost fully been converted to apocalypse. Darkseid must have unleashed his doomsday weapon. Oh, we're totally out of time. We started to rush over to his base as fast as possible. The parademons were all over the world now. I called out to Superman and asked him what the plan was now.
I guess we're gonna have to wing it.
No, we're not gonna wing it. I'll come up with the plan. We arrived at the base, and it was crawling with parademons. We rushed in and took them out with ease. Aquaman, Batman, and Cyborg, go find and shut down the machine. The rest of us, we're gonna try to defeat Darkseid.
No, we're supposed to stick together.
We really have no other option.
Exactly. If we're gonna save the world, we're gonna have to go in teams of two. Our teams split up. I followed Superman and Wonder Woman inside to find Darkseid. It was day 100, and we were standing in front of Darkseid. Your reign of terror ends now.
It's 3 against 1. You couldn't possibly win. You are 3 pathetic excuses for heroes. I can take you all out at once.
He leapt in the air and smashed the ground, sending us flying backwards. Wonder Woman charged at him using her sword, but she was quickly knocked away. Superman flew into the air and started to use his laser vision on Darkseid, which seemed effective at first, but I don't think it was gonna last long. I rushed in and began to strike him from different angles. I used my lightning abilities, and I can tell he was starting to get mad.
Enough of these foolish games.
Once again, he leapt into the air and knocked us both to the ground. He then rushed at Superman and started to overpower him with his attacks. I rushed over to help Superman. He continued to focus on him until he could no longer fight.
It's up to you, Fozo. You couldn't possibly defeat me. I am the most powerful being in this universe.
Maybe he was right. Was I really going to be strong enough to take him on alone?
You're not alone, Fozo. You have the entire Speed Force with you. Now, use it.
I had to give it a shot. I started to draw all the energy I could and began to run as fast as I could. I ran directly around Darkseid's base before returning and striking him with my lightning ability, and Darkseid was vaporized. We did it. We saved the world.